about stuff and things and whatnots. It was good.
Don't forget the suches. Don't forget the whatnots.
See, I just gave the abbreviated version. Hey, did Stonkington send his list?
I'm pretty sure he posted on the interwebs. He might have posted it in here also.
I
Um,
like what Nose Whistle's got lots of stuff for us to add to that. What was it yesterday? Hugs and tickles, and today it's tips and nips. It's good stuff.
I think he might have some hidden talents over there. He may. He just may. Benner, did you see the data?
I didn't. What data?
Well, unfortunately, people didn't lose their jobs, and we did not contract to the level that they wanted us to contract from an economy standpoint.
Oh,
So they made the red candles. Um,
so we're not
and
all fucked yet, and that's bad.
correct,
Okay.
correct, um, correct. That is very, very accurate in your assessment there. So yeah, here we are. It's like, look, I was looking at the charts last night, and I was like, you know what? It's like after that little move, a good little pullback and fire to the upside today would be very, very good and healthy. It really, really would. Not exactly what I want, but be good and healthy to pull back to these levels and then fire back to the upside. Would not be happy to have a covering rally yesterday and then shit right back down to the floor and stay into the floor. That would
Agreed.
not be a good thing.
Agreed.
So, here we are. I think Nike and Micron report, is that right? Micron being the one that I'm really, really curious about, like extremely curious about, as far as how their guidance looks. They probably won't guide, but just what their talking points are on their call, I think is going to be very, very interesting as far as how we move forward, especially in that space with it being as beat down as it is. I think that's really probably, at least from my standpoint in trading, tech in general is probably more important than that data that came out this morning. So that's kind of where I'm at with it mentally. Outside of that, it's like, look, there's really nothing going on in the world that really matters, to be honest with you. There's nothing hanging out there from a data standpoint, nothing from a storyline standpoint that we haven't seen or been dealing with. So we have to go back to the charts and flow. Charts are you, flow, I'll go ahead and comment on. Yesterday throughout the day, I kept on making comments. I don't know if people heard them or not. That we're not getting, this is a nice move, but we're not getting the lay-ins. We're not getting the call flow that could really push this move up and beyond. I don't know how many times I said it yesterday, but I said it enough to where I know I'm not a crazy person for saying that I said it. We have to get real flow. Yesterday was on the backs of bears covering with a little bit of call flow. That's what it is. Bear cover, little bit of call flow, we get a massive move like that. Bear cover, no call flow, we get no move. So today, coming in today, we need to remember some of the lines that came through. We saw a little bit of activity, Apple, but Apple's down big again. We saw a little bit of activity come back to Semi, saw a little bit of activity in Microsoft, a little bit of activity in the Meta, a little bit here, a little bit of activity in the murder plane. We saw some activity here and there, but we did not see money coming in and saying, yeah, we're going to go ahead and buy this dip with both hands. That did not happen. That has to happen today, today, not
Um,
tomorrow.
the only, and you tell me what you think, but until we really get a drop on the VIX, I don't know that we'll see a ton of call flow. What do you think?
Well, I think yesterday it was interesting, and you weren't here. There was a lot of put writing,
And that's yeah, we should see that
a
if we're
lot,
gonna move
a
up.
lot, a lot in mega cap specifically.
And that's where it
There was
starts.
there was a lot of put writing yesterday. We were not seeing, big call sellers coming in. We weren't seeing that either. But we were seeing put writing throughout the day, and that we were rallying off of those lines more so than the call flow necessarily. But we also saw the hedge move up on IWM. That moved up nicely. Saw a plethora of BitSight puts on Q. That's nice. Saw a little bit of call selling and writing on SQQQ. Again, nice. But we're not getting real strong directional call flow that says we get to play giddy up and go and rock out. That's what we need. We need that call flow to come back in. Now, the market has done and Flow has done a really good job of telling us, okay, so intraday we can get a move here, we can get a move here. We need to continue to pay attention to that, and finding the right entry can be difficult, and it can be very difficult both for bull and bear, if I'm being fair, in order to maintain profit for any more than about 35 seconds at a time. Are y'all noticing that? You get into a trade, you're like, wow, this is rock star shit. You're feeling all baller, and then 8 seconds later, you're like, where all my monies go? And I know I've gotten a couple of DMs of that type of commentary, as far as being like, hey, I can't get in and because you're not meant right now to get in and sit on either side. The game that's not what the game is right now. You have a choice in this market right here. You have a choice, Spender, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this. You have 3 choices, in my opinion. Okay? You either scalp, you take what they give you and move on. There is no set it and forget it options. You sit on the sideline, wait for the dust to clear, and then eventually slowly work your way back into the market. Or you sit there, you find opportunities to buy commons long term, full well knowing that you may well face some additional pain along the way. Those are your choices. That's what you have until this settles out. There is no, man, it's like I'm going to buy SPY 420 calls out to February, and I'm just going to sit back and sit here and stroke until, they're $30 in the money. That's not going on right now. Nor is it, I'm going to buy February 300 puts on SPY and just going to sit back and stroke. Can't do that either. So if you can't do either one, what do? In between, you scalp. And it's like, so what was it? The day before yesterday, I was in there bitching and moaning. I was up like 8% on some Q calls. And I was like, if I even thought that the 8% is all I would get, I wouldn't even taken the trade in the first place. That's the wrong attitude. That's shit attitude. That's being a fucking dumb fuck is what that is. So you have to take what they're going to give you. And with these candles being what they are, you have to set a stop. Your stops need to be actually fairly conservative, knowing that you can get stopped out real quick, maybe with profit, maybe without, and then it moves right back in your direction 3 seconds later. That's the environment. That's what we got.
That's what we got.
Do you agree? Disagree?
I do agree. I mean, it's the same thing, we've been kind of saying for a couple of days until we get confirmation. You can't really, ride anything out because it still hasn't really tipped its hat as to which way we're going. So I agree with you.
So it's like, so what do? It's like I put on one option trade in the last week and a half. One options trade. The rest of the time, my focus has been on I will buy Google, I will buy Adobe, I will buy SoFi, I will buy FCell, I will buy Tesla, I will buy Commons. I'm not going in saying like, hey man, I need 1,000 shares right here, I need 3,000 shares right here. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be like, okay, this is a good place, got a handful. Oh, I went down some more. Well, I guess I might add some more. And down again. Okay, well, I'll add a couple more. That's what my mindset is, and through this, because I'm looking at it from the standpoint of we're not going to be trading at these levels in 2 years.
Right.
And me holding on to blue chips for 2 to 3 to 4 years at these levels, over 50% off their highs for a few of them, I'm chill. I can do that. I can do that. I'm comfortable with that risk. That's me. I'm sitting here looking at this being like long term, I don't want to be in a position to where I look back in it and be like, dude, you could have had Google under $100 and it's at 170 now. Maybe I'll get a pullback. I don't want to be that. I'd much rather it be, well, shit, Google's at 80, maybe I should buy some more. I'd much rather be in that position than chasing it back, just chasing it like a motherfucker all the way up and through 120, 130, 140. I can say the same thing about, in a lot of ways, Adobe. It'd be like, okay, so I'm in right now with like a 290-ish average, so somewhere in there. I don't want to be chasing Adobe at 350, but I'm okay with buying more Adobe at 250. That's my mentality. That's where I'm at. And I know that doesn't really suit a lot of people in here who just want to scalp and play the quick direction, but that's where my brain is at. And that's what I'm trying to do, because longer term, I have to look at really trying to generate some type of wealth, some type of real backbone, and through opportunities like this, when you get recessionary pulls in the market, when you get bear markets, long term, nothing lasts forever. Bull market doesn't, no does bear.
Yeah.
Would I be early to positioning? Absolutely. That's already been proven out. It's like, fuck me. Adobe is a great example of it. I know, way early over there. I should have just sat there on his hands. But I didn't overextend myself trying to buy out to the future. That's the mindset I have to have in through here. That being said, Fender, tell us what you know. Tell us what levels you got, your suches and whatnot.
My suches and whatnots. Okay, well, start out with the fact that historically, per the almanac, today is prone to weakness. Not sure that we haven't seen enough weakness.
Mm-hmm. So we just get to keep on playing Groundhog's Day until we don't. Is again, this is, we're talking about the same area, same levels, same everything as we were talking about yesterday for the most part. So it's like, so it's same old, right? So if we're dealing with same old, the only difference, if we're talking about same old, we had quite a few upside phantom prints past couple of days. If we're be into that kind of thing, if we're going to talk about those types of things, and we're only going to chase the ones that are below us, we had quite a few, especially on the Q. Q also had, close to $1 billion intraday dark pool yesterday, which is pretty substantial. So again, let's see how that shakes out. I feel positive about the day and moving ups. I really, really do. I think ultimately that this is a really great pullback. I think at some point in time it's going to be bought, and I think we probably end up maybe flat to slightly green on the day. That's where my mindset is. That is my, and I know people hate hearing it, that is my bias. My bias is upside leaning for the day. Could definitely be wrong. I'm okay with being wrong because I understand my risk involved with being wrong. And that's all you can do as a trader. Understand your risk. Understand what you're doing. But that is my bias. I did not. All right. So look, it's like his levels are really good when it's looking at these things. It's like I can say that I'm looking at Apple being like, they're going to buy this dip again, dude. They're going to buy it again. Would not shock me in the least bit if we're back pounding around 150 by midday on Apple today. It's like they're going to keep on buying that dip. Tesla has its event tomorrow, so obviously we could see some weirdness in that. Watching Tesla flow is going to be interesting. With Micron reporting tonight, semis could be very, very intriguing. But that's, to me, if you're planning on holding semis overnight, that's a binary trade. But I would avoid unless you're just feeling lucky. Outside of that, it's like, look, it's like this is the market. This is what we have, guys. That activity yesterday, this is what we get. Activity to downside, this is what we get. We're chock full of uncertainty and a very strong desire on all angles to drive fear. You have the Fed selling fear. You have our politicians selling fear. We have market heads selling fear. Everybody is selling fear about as heavily as you could possibly sell fear. What you want with it? What you want? The one way that you cannot lose is by understanding your risk. You can't lose if you understand your risk. You also can't lose by standing on the sidelines. You can't win either that way, but you can't lose. So there is that. All right, ladies heading out. Bender, I got to go. You can wrap us up. I'll see you soon.